Laura, hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, how would you describe your lifestyle?
It's very active, first of all. I love being outside. I love being on the go. I have a lot of energy, so I try and prioritize putting that energy into places that fill me up again. That's either people or sports or anything in between that I love. So I think most people would characterize my lifestyle as being very hectic, some would put it. But I find I enjoy living a what some say hectic lifestyle. I love having things to wake up to and a to-do list for the day.
So, what does your normal day look like?
Well, I think my normal day would start around 6:30 or 7 a.m. I love trying to wake up at the same time every morning. So whether it's weekend or a public holiday or whatever, I try and get up around that time. Then typically I have my bag packed with my swimsuit and a towel, and then I would roll out of bed without having to think too much, not looking at the phone, just throwing everything into the bag, and then waking up when I bike down to the water, which I live very close to, so around 2, 3 minutes on the bike, and then I jump in the water, and then I'm awake. So that's first thing. Then I take a shower. We have like a sauna place where I swim, and sometimes I go into the sauna. And then I get a coffee, either at home, typically at home because I love my home coffee. But if I'm on the go, I'll take a coffee to go. And then straight to either work or university or whatever. I'm still a student, so most of my days go with studying, whether it's from home. Typically, it's from home because there was first a COVID period. Then I was out doing some abroad time, and then I am actually just finishing off my thesis. So we're close to finishing off this university like period of my life, but meaning that most of my time has been put there. After work, I would typically go out and do something active because I've preserved a lot of energy throughout the day to stay focused on whether it's work or it's university. So it's training that's my highest priority after this. Hopefully in a social setting because I'm a social animal. I love it. So if I can get a girlfriend or two or 10 to join me for a social run, we go for that. Sometimes it's even for a social ride. I still don't have a lot of like really close girlfriends that cycle. I have a lot of friends, but we typically like have one time a week we would meet up. So everything in between, something social, something workout, get a sweat on, get the endorphins going. Then I'm like, oh, I'm set for the day. And then whatever the evening brings, I'm kind of open for it. Typically, I would prioritize going home, making myself a home cooked meal, a lot of greens, stacking up on those vitamins and minerals and so on, and then have some downtime with my family or my boyfriend or whoever I feel like I need to reconnect to at that time. And then I go to bed around 10 p.m.
There's loads of things we can go into. So, firstly, you say you wake up at pretty much the same time every morning, even on the weekends. And that's actually like such a good thing for your health. And I don't think people really understand that even if you wake up at like 7 a.m., the same thing every day, then you actually get into the rhythm of it. Your body gets into the rhythm of it. And if you don't, then it really disrupts your sleep pattern. It really disrupts you. So then on Monday, when you've got to wake up early for work again, no wonder it's so hard.
Yeah, I agree. I
Interesting.
think through the years, I've had weekends where I've tried to sleep longer because I was like, well, you can do it, so why not? And then I've actually, even though my body clock woke me up around 7 a.m. or even before, I would kind of be like, no, I'm going back to sleep. And that's okay. I mean, bear with me. That's fine if you really need it. But it's kind of gotten me out of the rhythm of it. So exactly, when I wake up Monday morning, and I've been going late to bed the night before because I slept in on a Sunday. Oh God, it's hard. And it just doesn't get me off on the right path from like from Monday morning on. And yeah, it just found that it doesn't work for me on the long run, at least.
So you live in Copenhagen. I've never been to Copenhagen, but I don't believe that it's like the hottest place all year round. Do you swim in the winter in the water?
No, it's not that hot right now. I think it's perfect. I think it's around 9 degrees or something. So it's not
Quite
like
cold.
no, it's not hot. I wouldn't say it's hot. But I think what also characterizes a lot of us people from the Nordics is that we kind of love the cold plunge and the ice bathing, winter bathing kind of thing. And I got into winter bathing around 5 years ago. So every winter since then, I have been going to the water. Like, I think trying getting into again a rhythm of doing it in the mornings, Monday to Friday, and then the weekends can be like whatever kind of fits in, and if some people want to join or not. But what I found actually makes the biggest difference for me when going into the cold water versus the hot water is that I get my, like, it's kind of my meditation because it requires a lot of focus. It requires a lot of body control. So you got to get your breath work in from start to end in order to not like hyperventilate and want to rush out of the water because that does not make the overall experience very pleasant.
Mhm.
So been working with that a lot through the years. It's easier for me now, but that's definitely a takeaway note from here if you want to start.
There's been loads of literature and science and general hype about getting your cold water swimming in, the cold water showers in, and then having like the sauna and the heat after that and going from one extremity to the other. Have you found actual benefits in doing that in your everyday lifestyle?
So I feel first of all, I've always been freezing winter out. I mean, I've been person waking up freezing, having to put layer on layer on layer. And I mean, I couldn't get the jacket that would keep me warm. I've recently found it, but just to put it into to a more like relatable part, I've always been having problems with keeping my core body temperature heated up during winter times. This changed. I gotta tell you, this changed the day I started winter bathing because I forced my body to cool down to temperatures that it wouldn't usually go down to, and then having to naturally heat up in the part afterwards. And so this is I think was the first time I like really felt the benefits of this cold heat exposure. And then not to forget that it's had a massive impact on my sleep. I sleep way better. I would typically go into the sauna late at evening, like during the evening times or a couple of hours before bed to get my body temperature to like get heated up and ready for sleep. And this has really, really impacted my overall like sleep throughout the night, the quality of it. And then I think also just I mentioned earlier the mental part of it, like the meditation. And this mental part has also really been linked to my morning rituals or evening rituals about just going like from the head and into the body and having this exposure to cold water or sauna or stuff like that. So mentally, this has also had like a health benefit for me.
That's so interesting because I am also a very cold individual, and my like extremities, so my hands and my feet in winter, the pain, like the blood just goes from them. So that's so interesting. Maybe I should try that. Oh my goodness, I'm not sure I want to, but maybe I should.
Please do, and let me know.
How quickly did you notice a difference in your core temperature?
Well, I think I noticed it. I don't want to say that it was from one day to the other. I think if you were aware of it now, hopefully you will notice it quicker than I did. But the winter that I started winter bathing, that was 5, 6 years ago, I think that was the tipping point for me to get addicted to it because it just had one of these impacts. It also made me way more focused and like ready for whatever the day had to come. It didn't like kick me off track, whatever bad news may like ended up coming my way. But the whole like keeping core temperature warm and heated up throughout the day was, I think it was actually just like I want to say even for the first day. I mean, try it out one day, see if it works, see if it's even just having the benefits throughout the day, or maybe try a couple of times if it's not working for you, and maybe it's not a one, I don't know, fits all kind of model. But there's so many benefits from cold plunge, and I'm lucky enough to live close to the water, so it's easy for me to do it. But you can even just do it in the shower in the mornings, like wake up and take an ice cold shower. And I promise you that you're just gonna get so pumped for the rest of the day that you will like do it from, I don't know, for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Everyone listening to this, that's your challenge. Do it for 7 days and tell us what you think. So going back to morning routines and morning rituals,
Yeah.
I actually saw that you posted a clip of Andrew Huberman's podcast when he's talking about morning routine, which is such a good podcast, and talking about the importance of getting daylight first thing without sunglasses on. Is that something you incorporate into your morning ritual? What does it generally look like? And what are the benefits of having a proper morning routine that you actually think about?
Yes. First of all, I did quote his podcast. I absolutely love his podcast, The Huberman Lab, and you can find it on Spotify, Apple, whatever. He talks a lot about the benefits, and there are many, from exposing yourself to sunlight first thing in the morning. I have been doing this for years. Not something I have done because I was told to by someone that it had health benefits, but just like mentally, I felt like I couldn't wake up unless I had some kind of exposure to light. And for me, it's never been the obvious or way to just take my phone and get the exposure from that, because then I instantly trigger some other stuff in my brain as well that I don't want to trigger at that time of the day. I want to wait a couple of hours with that. So the most easy and natural way for me to wake up is just going outside. Sometimes it's even just opening the window and sticking my head out. And I don't know what my neighbors are thinking, but I'm standing there with my head out and like getting it all in. And it works. It works fine. So so whatever works for you, I can definitely recommend it. But what I've found is that not only does my mental clarity enhance throughout the day, it also helps my whole like circular system and my digestion and so on wake up. I had a long time where the first thing I would do in the morning was go out and get a coffee. And that's okay, because I love my morning coffee. But I felt like my body would just get an instant shock from the caffeine that was just injected directly into your system without even actually being awake at that point. So for me, I tried and fit something in the morning, and that ended up being my swim. But it could also just have been going for a morning walk. But again, just getting something natural as the light in your face makes you just makes you and your body just start off on the right foot.
Because also, when you wake up, you have this, it's like, it's a new day, but it's a fresh canvas of your day. If you're going to grab your phone and get all your dopamine levels like woo, 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 with looking at notifications, looking at your phone, you're going to crave that for the rest of the day. You're going to want that hit. You're going to be looking to that. Whereas if you go out and actually get some daylight, then it sets your day on a totally different trajectory. And it actually means that you're not just reaching for your phone, because you can dictate your day basically in like the first like half an hour that you're awake. Unless you fight very much to get it on a different track, it's probably what your day is going to look like is actually formulated in the first couple of minutes that you're awake, which is exciting because you can change it every day. But you need to be so intentional about it. Otherwise, even if you're not aware of it, you can just have a really rubbish day based on what you do when you wake up. It's mad.
I completely agree. And not to mention that the sunlight exposure, your rituals, however they look, are away from the social media or away from the whole like digital world. I cannot emphasize how important that is to dictate, for example, yes, the rest of your day. And it's only 30 minutes, as you say. That actually defines your level of happiness and the level of endorphins that come into your brain from the early hours of the day.
So you're really active on social media, on Instagram. How do you balance that, getting content up and regularly, but actually not letting it dictate your day, clouding your brain? How do you balance getting it right?
I think for me, being an online personality, it has always been something that I've been very cautious about, not letting it fill my life to an extent where I cannot keep up. It's not something it's nothing that dictates what I should and what I shouldn't do. So for me to be able to deliver quality content for my followers and the ones who want to check in and see what I do in life, it is my biggest priority is that it's authentic, it's true, and it comes from deep within. And in order for it to do that, I need to prioritize myself in the majority of the day. So I might be able to deliver the content in a set time frame, let's say from 4 to 5 every day, if I feel like that's the structure schedule I need. But that also requires that the rest of the hours throughout the day are used for me. And they're used to fill my energy, fill my basket up with all the eggs that I require that day. And so I'm very aware of what I deliver, how I deliver it, and where I canalize my energy, because it's also what defines my long-term health, my long-term happiness, and I am the only person who is responsible for that.
Absolutely. And when did you start your social media and building that up to the platform that it is now?
First of all, it has never been my intention to grow it to the extent that it is now. It has wonderfully, I don't know, resulted in where we are now. But I think what happened, not by accident, but not intentionally either, so it must have been by accident actually, was that I started posting more frequently because I always take photos, I always take videos. I love producing content. I just never got to the level where I started actually taking people into what I do on a daily basis. And from the moment I started doing that, I think we're 1.5 to 2 years back from now, the frequency increased of what I delivered, meaning that I also just started not overthinking what I posted. I've actually never done that, but I started just delivering what I anyways would create during the day. And apparently that was really, really something that was appealing to people to be a part of and follow along on. And that was amazing to see. So it wasn't intentionally, but it happened and it's amazing. And I'm so happy to sit here today to know that there are a lot of people who feel inspired by my everyday life and whom I hopefully can inspire even more to be better versions of themselves and prioritize their well-being, whether it's through sports or mentally or ambitions
Yeah.
in life.
And how did you elevate your content? You said then it kind of suddenly you were like, right, okay, I'm going to do it a bit more consistently. Did you make changes in the quality of it?
So I think first and foremost, I try to take my followers more along throughout my day. So that was probably point number one. And for me doing this, it's not always that a picture can reflect what it is or what I'm doing or where we are in the world. So I figured that if I try and like make a small caption or some kind of text in my, for example, my stories, to make it more relatable and to make the followers feel like they're actually there in the setting, seeing the sunset with me or eating my oatmeal in the morning with me, that will probably make the overall or enhance the experience for them, because that's what I personally found to be most appealing on social media. People actually taking you inside their lives and bringing you along on their everyday life. So that was point number one. And then I just started capturing moments of my life, which I not maybe at first hand would say were the most glamorous or best lighting, or trying not to be too critical to what I was actually taking pictures of, but still posting it because it was a vibe, and I'm all about the good vibes. And so whatever I posted, I would look and be, this makes me happy. Yes, the cream on the coffee is not perfect, but whatever. You get the point. I'm here, I'm drinking a coffee, it's a Sunday, we're having a good time. It goes up. So the whole critical part was pulled away from me, and then bringing followers along on my everyday whatever expenditures and life's happenings and so on.
And then you started working with brands as well. So you've worked with like New Balance, Panormal. Have you worked with Apple as well? How did that start?
Yes. Well, I think we're back to a bit over a year ago. So my followers grew quite fast, and I started getting contacted by some brands. I started, for example, first back in April last year. I was invited to Paris with Saucony, or Saucony, as some people may know it in the US, to be a part of their new shoe launch. And I think that was the first travel trip. I was like, wow, what's happening here? I couldn't really get a grip of it. I was like, you want to get me to Paris to run in your shoe, okay? And I just go and I post. I couldn't really figure out what was happening, but I was blown away by this industry, and I was like, okay, fair enough. We're going. Let's see what it. Ended up meeting the most amazing people. A couple of months later, I was invited for another trip, and these trips kept on going. And then I started getting contacted by some other brands who were like, "Hey, we love your profile. We love your whole universe, whatever you've created, and we want to tap into that. Do you think that you could use our product in your universe?" And then I'm always critical in that context. I'm like, nah, I don't know. Let me test it. Let me try it out. Give me a couple of months, see if I like it, and I will get back to you. So I do that all the time. I get these products and then I test them out if I feel like this could be something. For example, AG1, I've been taking athletic greens for a year now. I tested the products out for 4 months, and I was like, this is good. I feel good about this. Okay, now we can team up and do a partnership on this.
Yeah.
Things just it's like a snowball effect. And this snowball was running really quickly.
And do you manage it all yourself, or do you have an agency?
I had an agency for a couple of months, and we concluded that I was a bit too not confident, but I was already having an established brand, and I was already getting into the routine of talking to the brands and being behind the whole content creation, and also all the not so fun stuff about agreeing to terms on a contract. But I was at a point where I needed the help. So we also agreed to having these months where this agency would help me, and I was so happy. I mean, I still look back on the times like very thankful for having those extra hands on my whole profile and universe and brand and so on to help me make things add up and not stop, because the snowball was still rolling and becoming bigger and bigger. But things come in life, and sometimes unexpected things really come a bit fired against you, and you're standing there like, shit, what do I do? Because I've got so many things going on, and I don't want to stop any of it, but I don't have 28 hours in a day, so I kind of need to get the help there. But I'm also at a point now where I've chosen to go back to being independent, and I also manage everything myself. And then I have an assistant who is of great help to me, which helped me with the bigger projects and also the ambassadorships that I'm currently on. And it's nice to have just someone to talk to, because otherwise it can be quite a solo business to be in.
Have there ever been any negative interactions with brands who've approached you, but you actually might not have liked their products, or there might have been disagreements?
Actually, no. Well, I think that's also why I am so selective with whom I work with, because I am so true to who I am. I am so true to my brand, I want to say. And I do not want to I am not here to promote something that I'm not 100% true to and that I would not 100% use myself. Because that's what I also feel is something that's a duty that you have when you have a voice, that you're not to promote something that's not true. I'm here to inspire, and if I don't feel inspired by what I produce, I wouldn't produce it or deliver it to people who are following along. So all the negative outcomes that could get created when you work with so tight or so close to your brand who also have their values, it's just never been there because we've aligned since day one.
What do you do when you are feeling unmotivated or you're feeling in a bit of a slump? I guess people will get it at different times of year. It might be a bit of midwinter. Do you always feel inspired, or how do you avoid the creative and also just active burnout?
Yes, of course I feel burnout. I'm a human as well. And I am ready to take on these periods that may come because I know that they will come. But I'm quite ready also to just accept it and be in it and say that when I have a burnout and when I don't feel like, let's say, creating content or being on the go and exactly having an active lifestyle, I don't do it. I don't force myself to. I would rather just stop and question myself and say, why am I having a burnout right now? What can I change in my life right now for me to get back on the right track? And if it's for a longer period of time, let's say you're having an exam or you have a deadline at work or you got injured while you were working out, you know that it's for a specific period of your life that you are forced to be in this burnout phase. Try and implement things into that phase or that period in your life that will fill you up with energy. Whether it's taking a step back from your social media account and making sure that you only deliver the content that you feel is of good quality or that you feel you as a person also is inspired by. It can also be taking complete back from social media and going over to filling your day up with various of other stuff, obtaining a new hobby, seeing your friends, making a Tuesday date with your boyfriend, whatever makes you happy at that time of your life. And phases in life change. We are all just evolving. So make sure that you constantly do the trial and error and be like, okay, this is not fueling me up anymore. Why is it not? Okay, what should I supplement or what should I what substitute, that period in your time with instead?
What I love about that answer is it's basically saying just be kind to yourself and listen to yourself. Because I think we all forget to actually be kind to ourselves. Some of the things we say to ourselves, we would never say to like our mum or our friend or anyone who is like, I'm feeling really burnt out. It's like, oh, well, just get on with it. Come on, you've got a duty to keep on doing it. How dare you take a day off? When actually it's like, just take a little nap or walk outside or turn your phone off for 24 hours. You definitely won't miss anything. Or just don't go on social media. You won't miss anything. It's so interesting, isn't it, that we forget to actually be kind to the people who we are.
Yes, of course. Exactly. I completely agree. And it's quite easy to just get carried away by the life we live. And you're to be of course, a good girlfriend and also a good friend and a good daughter. And you're to perform at work and you're to also keep on updating your Strava statistics, whatever. But at the end of the day, you are the most important person in your life. And whatever works for you in this moment, this second, that's the decision and that's the gut feeling you should go with. Because otherwise, you will burn out at some point in your life. And we're here to enjoy it and live it because we only have one of them.
Completely. Are you growing your Instagram long term? What's your goals with it? You're saying that you're about to finish university. What's your day job? Like, what's your goals that you're going to achieve short term and long term? Big question.
Well, I dream big, let's say that. I am definitely a dreamer and have always been. First of all, to get people into what I do for a living, I am a university student. I am currently on my master's degree in food science and technology at University of Copenhagen. I'm doing my thesis and I will be finished at the start of next year. So that's my short-term goal, to finish that and close that chapter in my life, because it's something I've been working a lot on, and it's something that I've been really allocating a lot of hours and energy into. So hopefully we're close to being finished, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that will bring in the future for me. I work part-time as well in a Danish company, Biotech, where we develop cultures for the food industry. I think it's a very, very interesting industry and also company to be in. So I'm also interested to see if that could bring something once I am finished with my studies. And then there's the whole new chapter in my life that has just opened in regards to the whole social media part. It's something that I am very passionate about as well. It's something where it's a part where I invest a lot of my energy and my time, because I see that it's also benefiting the majority of people. And I am here to not only inspire, but also empower the people that I can. And here I especially found that I can empower women within sports. So I recently launched a community called LP Community, which is currently only here in Copenhagen. But again, I'm dreaming big, so I have ambitions to extend this to any other city that makes sense. And here it's actually just a free platform and community for women to meet up to various events. Anything from cycling to running to yoga to morning swimming, whatever, you name it. And just meet like-minded women who also have a passion and love the whole, what's it called, lifestyle around just being active and healthy and living your best life. So at the moment, we have reached 1,700 women since April, where I founded the community. So it's escalated quickly.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And it's only on the right track. Yeah, thank you. And let's see where the future will bring in regards to that.
And is this an online community as well, or is it just in person?
That's a very good question, because of course I have been debating where it's most optimal. So at the moment, it's only physical. It's physical events, so in-person events that have been hosted in Copenhagen. I dream about creating an online community which can expand across borders and simply just align women that feel and have the same love for what we do across countries. That would be the dream. So let's see where the future will bring. I hope that I can invest even more energy into the community and see what would make sense for all of us on a long-term perspective.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's so great to be able to incorporate the internet and social media and groups that you can have online to actually expand that community of people so they don't feel alone. They feel inspired. You have accountability with other people. And we need community. And in this day and age where we can connect with anyone across the globe at any time, I think people haven't rarely felt so lonely in the history of life than we do now. Because we sit in front of our screens, we don't have to talk to anyone, we don't have to go to work, we can do it from home. It's bizarre, isn't it, that in the age of connectivity, we actually feel quite alone, and it's hard to make friends, especially in your 20s. So to actually have a community that you can connect with like-minded people who have the same ethos, you've got that foundation of active lifestyle and wellness. So to bring that together is such an important aspect of it. and everyone arrives in at the same level, the same mindset, and they're ready to make friends and make communities with each other.
Yes, you're completely on track, and thank you for pointing that out.
But you're active as well, as in you cycle, run, you swim, you go to the gym. What's your main sport, or is it just all of them?
Well, I think my main sport is, at the moment, it's been running, because I just ran my half marathon last weekend, one of many. But I find that if you have to if you set a goal and you want to improve your current time or whatever, you have to put some time into it. So I've been running quite a lot up to that. But I want to say maybe my primary sport throughout the years, despite all these minor runs and so on, is cycling. I absolutely love cycling. I have been cycling for around 3.5 years now. I bought a bike just after COVID times and was also feeling lonely to some point, and I needed a kind of a space where I could meet like-minded sports enthusiasts, and cycling definitely gave me that. I had never expected that the world of cycling would open up and exactly just exist in the context, or like in the level that it does. Cycling is something that I also try and empower women to get into, because the girls and the other women you meet within the cycling industry are just absolutely fantastic. They're so sweet, they're so helpful, they're typically quite humble, and it's something that I think is very very important to say. It's a good instrument to empower women anywhere in the world. And I actually just came home from a trip to Switzerland, where we were 18 women from 18 different nationalities, and we all had one thing in common, and that was cycling. And I am still head over heels and absolutely speechless from what I experienced on this trip. The women, despite level, all had a passion and all had a love for cycling. And we just had the most amazing conversations. And we figured that it doesn't matter what level you are on. Of course it doesn't. We're here to support each other, like women on women. I mean, we're here for each other. And the things that we can accomplish together is insane. So cycling is something that I am very, very passionate about, also prioritizing my energy on, and whatever it requires for me to make this even like expand the possibilities within this sport and this community and world to whoever wants to be a part of it, because it's amazing on every level.
Yeah, sports communities, they just bring people together, and it's such an equalizer. I love it. And if someone's listening to this and thinking, okay, I would really like to build up my social media platform, what would be your tips to them in how to do that in a quality, consistency, and authentic way?
Well, I think first point to build up your social media platform would be to question yourself. You are ready to take people into your lives. Because if you say yes to this, you take them inside your house, you take them inside your personal relationships, you take them inside your thoughts. And it requires that you have, first of all, energy, and maybe excess amount of energy to do this. But if you are ready for that, I would definitely say go full on. Don't go half speed. Go full on. Deliver a lot of content that you feel reflects who you are as a person. And it's okay to get inspired by who else is out on the social media, but try and create your own path. And again, to being authentic, it's something you are already. I mean, no one looks alike. You are an individual. So be you and be true to who you are. And then just have whatever kind of, like, whatever your gut feeling tells you, go with that. And then stay consistent. Keep on going despite what people are going to say to you, and despite whatever the externalities are determining for you. It doesn't matter. You have the answers already, and if you want to go that way, go that way. And then there is definitely chance that you can build up some kind of platform because you are unique in the way you are already.
Someone's visiting Copenhagen for 24 hours. What are the must-do things, in your opinion?
Oh, first of all, I would say 24 hours is not long enough. But if you have 24 hours layover, fair enough. I would recommend you to get up early. I mean, the city is beautiful from sunrise to sunset. Start your day off by doing something that involves exposure to sunlight, maybe a cold plunge. There are various options for doing this. You can swim anywhere in the sea in Copenhagen because the water quality is good, so it's clean enough for you to do that. Then I would recommend you to go down to one of the many amazing sourdough bakeries that we have and get a bun with butter and cheese and a coffee. I personally love Juno Bakery, amazing sourdough buns, but also Dellas, which is on Østerbro, a part in Copenhagen. Or Original Coffee makes amazing coffee as well, and their buns are also spot on. Then, once you've started the day off right, you're already filling your basket with all the eggs. Then get out there, put on some good shoes, and walk around the city. Walk around, meet friends, put a podcast on. I don't know, buy yourself a good salad somewhere, which we also have tons of. Go and be very cultural, go to a museum, take the train up north, and go to Louisiana, which is a very nice museum as well. And then maybe finish off your day by either seeing if you have someone who wants to meet up with you for a coffee or a glass of wine. You can also join one of the many social runs or rides or whatever that we typically have Monday through Friday during the week. And then make sure to see the sunset somewhere from a rooftop because it's if weather's good, it's absolutely beautiful.
I love that. Well, there you go, everybody. You're 24 hours at least in Copenhagen. Amazing. Thank you so much, Laura, for coming on today. I love our conversation, like the wellness aspect of it. I think I'm going to have to get into some cold water, which I'm not thrilled about, but I'm thrilled about the possibility of the outcomes of being less cold. What an amazing conversation about just like the power of communities, of women coming together, being active and actually being intentional in your daily routine. It's as simple as that, being intentional, thinking about it, not being on autopilot. So if someone wants to follow you online, where do they go?
I think my primary channel is Instagram, and I am called Laura Petri, LauraPetri, all in one. You can find me there. If you are interested in the community, also if you don't come from Copenhagen, you can find that on Facebook. It's called LP Community Copenhagen. I am also on various other platforms, TikTok, YouTube, Strava, if you feel like getting inspired by some of the activities I do. And yeah, otherwise send me an email if there's something specific you wanna reply to.
Well, thanks so much for coming on today, Laura.
Thank you.